Hey everyone, Brad Kelly here. We're going to do some conference championship weekend predictions. Before we get started, you can subscribe to this channel using the button in the upper right-hand corner. Last week we were 3-1 with our picks in the divisional round, and that was coming on the heels of a weekend where we were 5-1 through the wild card round, bringing the playoff total to 8-2. We've had some success picking these games, hoping to keep it going for conference championship weekend and beyond in the Super Bowl. Looking at the AFC Championship game, the obvious story currently in the middle of the week is whether or not Patrick Mahomes is going to play or not. I'm going to go based on the assumption that he will play. If he doesn't, and Chad Henne is a chief starter, I think the Bills are the obvious choice because I think he's a serviceable backup, but the difference between a Mahomes and a Henne is obviously so vast that I think the Bills would end up getting that done. But assuming Patrick Mahomes is cleared to play and plays at relatively full strength, I'm going to go with the Kansas City Chiefs. I think the Bills' lack of pure running game, where they actually just hand the ball off to their running backs, will eventually come back to bite them. Now, I said that last week, and they were still able to beat the Ravens. But the offense really didn't play very well. They only scored 10 points. They only had 220 yards offensively. And that's not going to be a recipe to outscore the Kansas City Chiefs. The Bills have actually gotten outgained in both playoff games so far by the Colts and Ravens. And that really, I don't think that gets it done against an offense as prolific and an offense that executes at such a high level like the Kansas City Chiefs do with Patrick Mahomes. The Chiefs have only lost one game this season that Mahomes has started. Going back to last year, their winning percentage in Mahomes starts is just out of this world. And I think that will continue. If Henne eventually starts, I think the Bills and their playmakers on defense in the second and third level would turn him over, would get takeaways and change the game, and the Bills would win. But with Patrick Mahomes, it's hard for me to envision a team with an offense that's not playing at its best in Buffalo and is essentially eliminating an entire aspect of their offense, being able to outscore the Chiefs' offense and their explosive playmakers, their big playability, and their execution. Looking at the NFC, gonna go with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. It's really difficult to pick against Tom Brady, especially in the playoffs in January. And the way the Bucs offense continues to function is at such a high level. And even against the Saints, there were times where the offense was kind of sputtering, where they looked like mid-season Bucs, difficult play calls, always running on first down. Third down was throwing fade balls along the sideline, and they were having to punt, and they were still able to score 30 because the defense was able to complement them with takeaways. Over the last 6 games, the Bucs have scored an average of 31 points. That was coming since their bye week, the last 4 games of the regular season and their 2 playoff games. But even more impressive is their defense is allowing less than 20. They're able to turn the ball over. They're able to get takeaways and set their offense up. And the Bucs offense looked a lot better in the red zone against the New Orleans Saints. Something that would be interesting is going back to the Bucs Packers matchup early in the season and seeing how that can translate to the NFC Championship game. The Bucs were able to bother Aaron Rodgers using the blitz. They sacked him 4 times, and because of that, they were able to limit Davante Adams to just 61 yards. That will need to be a similar path that they take in order to slow down the Packers offense. The issue being the Packers haven't allowed a lot of sacks against the blitz since then. They got a lot of stuff figured out after that, and they've been really sound against the blitz since. But the Bucs, with their blitz package, their talent at pass rusher between Jason Pierre-Paul, who had over 9 sacks, Shaq Barrett, who had 8, and Devin White coming from the second level and blitzing, he had 9 sacks, plus the addition of Vita Vea to the middle of that defensive line, I think is enough to bother Aaron Rodgers in the pocket and limit their vertical passing game and limit the depth of the field that Davante Adams is able to catch the football. If you limit him to all those short and intermediate stuff and really most of the short horizontal stretch plays, I think that's where you can not get very exposed by Adams and his route running. So I'm gonna go with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I think Tom Brady's mind and the way that he's able to function offensively against a Mike Pettin defense, especially one that leaves a little bit to be desired in the middle of the defense, is going to be an upgrade, an advantage for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And in the second half against the Saints, I think the Bucs realize if we use our depth, if we rely on Brady, we use our depth, we mix in Scotty Miller, we mix in Ronald Jones, we mix in Cameron Bray on top of the Gronk, Evans, Godwin, AB package, that's when they can really start to expose teams and defenses and secondaries who are on the field basically for every play against the Bucs. So I think I'm going to go with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I think they figured out a lot against the Saints, and I think that they have an advantage personnel-wise over the Green Bay Packers. Obviously, it's tough to pick against Aaron Rodgers, but the way Tom Brady has played throughout his career in the playoffs, makes me want to choose. Makes me want. It's difficult to pick against Tom Brady. I mean, it really is. He has 32 playoff wins, and picking against him seems like a foolish thing to do. Let me know what you think about the conference championship picks. Leave your comments below. Let me know who you're picking. Let me know why. Let me give score predictions. Let me know who you think is going to win the Super Bowl. Thank you for watching.